everybody. Welcome to the first ever SCU Show syndicated podcast. Whether you're listening to me on the video or you're listening to me through the audio, I thank you for listening, and this is what we're going to be doing from here on out. Syndication. I'm very excited to get it going. I apologize for the echo. I have no idea where it's coming from. Probably this headset, but anyway, stick with me. We're going to figure things out as we go along, and we're going to start this show. By the way, we have two shows this week. This one, and then the next one will be on Thursday when I have Jude Binkley on. He'll help me cover the college football playoff. We'll talk some NFL and some Arizona State because he's from Arizona State University, class of 2023. All right, let's get started here. College football playoff. Oklahoma and LSU obviously is the best matchup in the playoff, and here is why. LSU has won top 10 games. Joe Burrow just won the Heisman. Oklahoma won the Big 12. And Jalen Hurts, arguably, and I still think he is the best college football quarterback out there. And everyone saw how great Joe Burrow is, because he won the Heisman and he threw so many yards, so many touchdowns, did this, did that. I still think it's Jalen Hurts. He's the most explosive quarterback with the best receiver. You can make the argument about Alabama CeeDee Lamb being the best receiver. I'm going to make the argument about CeeDee Lamb being the best receiver in college football. So you have him with Jalen Hurts. That's an explosive offense right there. Just those two by themselves. And obviously LSU has the best defense in the country, so that just put that matchup. You have LSU's defense against CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Hurts. That obviously makes for a great college football game, right? That's absolutely amazing. Meanwhile, you go to the other side of the spectrum. Ohio State is so far superior to Clemson. It's not even funny. Everybody talking about how Clemson, they're undefeated, and they haven't played anybody. They played the weakest Power 5 conference in all college football, the ACC. They really struggled. They struggled with North Carolina early, and then they struggled against some other teams, and they beat Wofford. They beat South Carolina, a bunch of lackluster teams. NC State, lackluster teams. And you think that they're going to somehow give Ohio State a challenge? I don't see it happening at all. I think Ohio State rolls in the college football playoff over Clemson in a rematch of that game a couple years ago with Deshaun Watson and J.T. Barrett, where the Tigers just absolutely dominated the Buckeyes. It's going to be the other way around this time. I think Ohio State tramp stamps Clemson. But I'll get back to that in a moment. I want to keep going here. So, Ohio State, the reason they're superior to Clemson is they won 4 top 25 games. They have not just one, but 2 Heisman finals. They had Justin Fields and Chase Young both in New York for the Heisman thing. And obviously, I'm taking Ohio State over Clemson. I think Oklahoma turns the ball over about once or twice, and I think that LSU beats Oklahoma. And if it's gonna be a close game for most of the time, I do think though that Oklahoma turns the ball over at least once or twice, and I think LSU wins. They will face Ohio State in New Orleans on January 13th. So we look forward to that. All right, now that's pretty much it. My college football playoff stuff right there. Now I want to switch over to the NFL. Saints have won the NFC South. The Chiefs have won the AFC West. The Ravens have won the AFC North. Every other division right now is open, even though some could be clinched by this coming Saturday when we have a triple header: the Bucs and the Texans, the Patriots and Bills, and then nightcap, the Niners and the Rams. So I thought, we're going into 2020. 2 shows left. Last one is a guest show where I have Jude Binkley join me, talk about everything NFL, college football, Arizona State. So I thought, why not take this episode and why not talk about the division winners? Who's going to win each division? Here are my predictions for these division winners. Green Bay's going to win the NFC North. No idea what's going on with Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook got hurt in the last game for the Vikings against the Chargers. Almost said San Diego. Against the Chargers. We don't know if he's going to be out or whatever. As a shoulder injury, he was out of the rest of that game. We don't know what's going to happen with him. Plus, you have Packers have Aaron Jones. 2 Aarons. You have Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, obviously. They have Aaron Jones, who has like 15 total touchdowns this season. It's going to be pretty... they played this coming Monday. But I think the Packers win that game, and then they win the NFC North because they've already beaten the Vikings week 2. They'll have 2 wins against the Vikings with 1 game left to play. I think that's it. Green Bay wraps up the NFC North next Monday night with a win in Minnesota. I think Minnesota will get to the playoffs, but I'll come back to that. New England, Come on, it's New England. They win the NFC East every year. Even when they didn't have Tom Brady and they went 11-5. Yeah, they didn't win the division. They missed the playoffs, but they went 11-5 without Tom Brady. That's all Bill Belichick, obviously. Because, you know, if Bill Belichick could do it with Matt Castle, he could do it with anybody. Now, Buffalo can win the division if they beat New England this Saturday. And if the Patriots lose to the Dolphins. But I don't think either's going to happen. I think the Patriots are beating the Bills this week. And I think New England wraps up the AFC East. It'll be just that simple. Because they're the Patriots. That's what they do. They wrap up things so easily. And they're going to do it again this week. Houston. Next one. Houston's going to win the AFC South. I mean, they were already ahead of Tennessee in the division. Ahead of Sunday's game against Tennessee, which they won. So now they have a 2-game lead in the AFC South. When it comes to the division, they have 1-game lead in the AFC South overall, but they just beat the Titans. They'll beat them in Week 17. The Texans are going to win that division. The AFC South is wrapped up already, though. Even if the Titans do beat the Texans, I do think that I do think that the Texans, however, already have won the AFC South because they had the better division record, so there's that. And of course, you know, the Texans do have the lackluster Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up. So there's that as well. Now, I'm actually picking Dallas to win the NFC East. I know I'm a Cowboys fan. This is my final year. A couple more weeks left. Cowboys fan. I'm renouncing my fandom, getting rid of all my Cowboys jerseys. I'm selling them, whatever the case may be. But I'm picking Dallas to win the NFC East. I mean, look what the Eagles have done the last couple of weeks. They haven't done anything. They've been just an absolutely bad, not a terrible team. They've had tough times over these last few weeks. They can't figure out ways to win. They're just having a lot of trouble. And I think those troubles continue Sunday when they host the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys win that game and they win the NFC East. And then they get booted by the Niners or the Seahawks, either one, in the first round of the NFC wildcard. So, at least I could say my final year as a Cowboys fan, that the Cowboys won the NFC East. So I'll be happy to say that for what it is. I'm picking Seattle to win the NFC West because that's the team I picked to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. You know, I picked the Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl. I still think they go to the Super Bowl. They just got the 1 seed back after the Niners fell to the Falcons at a big upset. Wow. I don't know what that was from San Francisco, but that was a big loss. They were up by 10 with 10 minutes left. That's really, I think where they went wrong, because they should not have blown that 10-point lead with 10 minutes left. But I digress. Anyway, another story for another time. I do not see the Niners winning in Seattle Week 17 because everyone's talking about that. This is going to be the biggest game. They're going to come back and beat the Seahawks in Seattle. I don't see it happening. The Seahawks Quest Field, I think it's called, is the loudest stadium in the NFL. If not Arrowhead, it's definitely Quest Field. The 12th man and all that good stuff. I think Seattle wins Week 17. They beat San Francisco. They win the NFC West. En route, again, I say they're going to the Super Bowl. And I think that's it. I think I cut out everything. I did. So here are my division champs. New Orleans are right in the South. Kansas City's already won the West. Baltimore's already won the AFC North. Green Bay in the NFC North. New England's going to win the AFC East. Dallas wins the NFC East. And Seattle wins the NFC West. So there you have it. By the way, the only 2 playoff spots left in the NFC are it's either the Cowboys or Eagles, whoever wins the NFC East. Now, I just said the Cowboys are probably going to win it. And then you have the 6th seed, which Minnesota is at 10-4, while the Rams are now 8-6 following that loss to the Cowboys. So I think the Vikings are just fine. I think they'll be just fine. They'll be a playoff team. They'll be the 6th seed. And then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Not too sure what will happen with them. All right. Obviously, very short show because, again, we have 2 episodes coming up. So this is about a 15-minute podcast, really. But I hope you enjoyed it. I'm very glad to be doing syndications. It's very cool. And let's get to it. Our SCU Sizzling 7. Number 7, we're going to go Houston. Yeah, Texans are back in it. They are going to win the AFC South probably Saturday when they beat Tampa. They'll wrap up the AFC South. They could make a playoff run. I said this before. The Texans beat the Patriots already on Sunday Night Football. They really dominated the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. So what makes anybody think that the Texans could do it again? Couldn't go into Foxborough in a division round game and win over the Patriots. So Texans number 7. Number 6, we're going Buffalo. They're a playoff team for the second time in 3 years. After not making the playoffs, it took them 17 years, 18 years to make the playoffs again. After those 4 straight Super Bowl losses, they went to the playoffs in '99. That was it. That was actually the Music City Miracle, if I'm not mistaken. That's when they went to the Music City Miracle. But they're a playoff team again. They forced 5 turnovers yesterday against the Steelers, Sunday Night Football. And they are number 6, my SCU Sizzling Seven. Number 5, San Francisco. Again, what was that loss? Lost to the Falcons. I don't understand the Falcons either, but come on. The Falcons are not a playoff team, and you blew a 10-point lead at home with 10 minutes left. You blew it. You should not have, if you're San Francisco, you should not have blown that. Man, that was just, wow, that was really bad for the San Francisco 49ers. No idea what that was, but they are number 5 on the SCU Sizzling Seven this week. Number 4, New Orleans. This podcast is being recorded on a Monday morning, so they played tonight against the Colts, but I think that they beat the Colts, and they are already division champions. What else do they have to lose? They probably will get a first-round bye. Either the Seahawks or the 49ers will get a first-round bye. The Saints are going to get the second one, so they're going to have already missed the wild card. They're already going to be ready for the next opponent in the division round. So they're number 4 on my SCU Sizzling Seven. Number 3, I'm picking Minnesota, because they're going to be a 6 seed, but that's the most dangerous 6 seed I've ever seen in a while. Absolutely dangerous 6 seed. I'm not sure what to expect from them when it comes to the postseason. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do. Vikings are number 3. Number 2, Seattle. They're back up there in number 1 spot. They beat the Panthers. Russell Wilson threw 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, just under 300, about 296. And with the Niners lost, they're back to number 1. And I think that's exactly where they belong. They belong at number 1 in the NFC. Unfortunately, they're number 2 in the SCU Sizzling Seven. Can you guess who number 1 is? Do I have to tell you? Alright, I'll tell you anyway. It's Baltimore. Baltimore is going to be number 1. Probably throughout the playoffs again. They're the 1 seed right now. They're probably going to wrap up the 1 seed. I don't know. They played the Browns. They're in Cleveland this week. By the way, did you see that Browns game against Arizona? Yikes. I hope that the Ravens... First of all, you can't do what you did week 4 when they lost to Cleveland at home. You can't give up 85-yard touchdowns to Nick Chubb like that. So, obviously Baltimore number 1 in the SCU Sizzling Seven. So to recap the show, because it's very short, I'm just going to go over everything again. LSU-Oklahoma is easily the bigger matchup. LSU has won 4 top 10 games. Joe Burrow won the Heisman. Oklahoma won the Big 12. Jalen Hurts, the most explosive college football player. I don't care. You can argue that all day. It's going to be great to see LSU's defense go up against CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Hurts, and that Oklahoma offense. See what they do. I think LSU wins by forcing a couple turnovers, maybe 1 or 2. And Ohio State will dominate Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl in a rematch of the game they played, the Fiesta Bowl college football playoff game they played a few years ago, featuring Sean Watson and JT Barrett. So that have LSU Ohio State in New Orleans on January 13th. I won't tell you the winner. Yeah, I'll tell you the winner when it comes to having Jude Pinkley. And I hope you'll listen to that episode. It's going to be a good one. I do hope you enjoyed this first ever syndication. I'm sorry it was very short. I don't know what happened. I had a lot more. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Syndication comes back January 3rd, I'm sorry. We'll be back to preview the playoffs. But next episode, make sure to go to anchor.com/ I don't remember the anchor. Go to Anchor, look up the SCU show, and Jude Pinkley interview will be there. Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been a syndicated episode of the SCU show.